The three-way switch for the bilge pump came in damaged and unusable, and I'm impatient, and the water is still coming into the boat like water does. So I'm going to wire up the new bilge pump to be on automatic constantly, and I guess leave the shore power plugged in until I get a proper three-way switch, which I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't know. We're gonna wire it up. I'm gonna get a new battery. I'm gonna get it on shore power. I might order a small solar panel just to keep the batteries topped up, regardless of the shore power, and it should provide just enough power, regardless of the size of the panel. I don't even, maybe one like 25 watt to keep the 12-volt battery up, to keep the bilge pump on automatic. Problem solved. I don't know. But yeah, it's a little warmer than I expected today, so we're gonna get all of this into sport mode. Now, I'm actually pretty happy about this water level. I haven't pumped it out in like 4 or 5 days, so obviously the incoming water is not as drastic as I thought it would be. I'll wait for the plane to finish flying over. So the incoming water level isn't terrible. It doesn't appear that it's going to drastically fill up over a weekend if I go anywhere. There are a lot more spots, a lot more through holes than I'm a fan of. So winter project is finding out what's absolutely necessary and what's not, and removing and closing those up. This is probably the speedometer, so I know there's a little propeller out there. I don't need that, I want that gone. These two bad boys are probably freshwater intake for the sink. I haven't followed the lines yet, but I'm betting this one's sink. I don't know what this guy does. I bet that was probably cooling for the engine beforehand. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So, bilge water is not filling up super fast, so I'm not worried about it sinking if I have to go somewhere for a couple of days or a week or two. I'm still going to put in the new bilge pump. And I think there's actually enough now for me to test the manual bilge pump. If I can get... I don't know actually why they did it this way. That's kind of in the water. So we'll test that now, because I want to see if the manual's working in the event that my electric fails and I'm out somewhere and we're taking on water or something. So yeah, I'm gonna try and memorize the water level by looking at it and kind of see a little bit of this little peg is not submerged. We'll see how much it goes down, and then of course the video will show more than me. So let's go hit the mani and see what happens. All right, yes, okay. So I could hear it sucking while I was out there. I just didn't know how much, and that's quite a bit. Only after a couple minutes of pumping. So, all right, we at least have the manual for emergencies. Yeah, let's get that shitty old electric out of here and get the new one installed, and see if I can get it wired up to do a constant automatic, because yeah, the switch is broke for manual and off. So we're just gonna, I guess, keep the batteries topped up. Fingers crossed. That screw's not even really even in there. That's what I was worried about. I think this thing is got a screw in it somewhere. boy. Figured it out. Classic me fashion, by just pulling on stuff until it almost breaks. Nice and easy. Okay, that doesn't look super old. My surveyor was concerned that was my head in the way the entire time there? Anyway, the surveyor was concerned that it was all original wiring, but this does not look that old. It doesn't look new. It definitely has some quirks about it, but it's not 50 years old. So now I want to remove the wires for the bilge pump, which I will probably need to trace because I don't recognize the colors, but maybe these labels can tell me something. I can't really read them. Also, I'm told that these little wire caps are not safe, so. Spread light, I think is what that says. Okay. L and BL. Yeah, no. I don't know what this all means. Compass light. Okay, now this might be original because that feels like leather. And I think it used to be tape. Don't buy a boat. Don't do it. You just end up buying projects, is what you do. Well, this is what I wanted. Let's make it work. Aha, there's some screws here. That wire goes right under here. So we're going to dig in and see if this is where it's hidden at. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so you guys are going to see it in real time with me. As long as I don't drop this in the bilge, which is wide open because I don't learn my lessons ever. Okay, we'll set that up here inside the Velcro circle so I can't go anywhere. Can't really get my hands back here as well as I want to. Secure that. Screwdriver away. Hey, all right. So we have wire access and what looks like quite a bit of moisture. That's not concerning at all. Huh. Okay, so I dug out those two wires. They become a white and a black right here at this connection. I'm gonna go back underneath, well, inside the engine compartment, look for black and white, and give it a few yanks, and I've lined the screwdriver up underneath these wires, perfectly lined up with this corner. So if the screwdriver moves, I'll know that I've pulled the correct wires. So let's go see if I can track it down. You guys yell if the screwdriver moves, okay? Thanks. Hell yeah. Where's that white cable? Oh, found it too. Nice.
The afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s near the lake and in the mid 70s inland. North winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. The 3 p.m. weather observations across Wisconsin.
I didn't think this thing worked.
In Milwaukee, it was sunny.
Hell yeah.
Temperature was
It's good backup, I guess.
degrees, lit 2.58, and the relative
And the radio's on.
72%. The wind
So,
was east at 10 miles an hour. The pressure
we're getting
was
there.
29 point.
What the hell was that? I heard a noise and I don't know what it was, and it's making me nervous. I don't think I knocked anything down. There shouldn't be anything up here. Okay, anyway, these lights, while cool and retro, I don't want them. They're old. That wiring's probably 50 years old. It's just a hazard, in my opinion. So I want them gone. And there's only one screw right here, and I'm guessing there's something else holding it in somewhere on the inside. And I'm trying to not get too rough with it. Okay, never mind. I swear right before I was recording, that would not come off for anything. Dear God, there's no telling how old. Anyway, so we're just gonna take those out, cover it with maybe some battery-powered touch LEDs or something. I was just gonna record me trying to take this thing off, but apparently it just fell off after I hit record. So, you know, win-win. Can't be mad about that. That is black in there. What is happening? There's another flathead screw right here. Making sure the battery's off before I start messing with India. Don't tell me it's smaller than this screwdriver. It kind of is, but it's still turning. Okay. It's barely turning. Oh my God. That is stuck. That is rusted in there. Don't you go nowhere. Just in case I ever want to put this damn thing back together for some insane reason. Those rivets better not be a part of what's holding it up. Oh, if for some reason I do all the clips in order and you're wondering what's happening with the bilge pump, it is going to need a three-way switch, or I have to wire it up to the battery. And I might just wire it up to the battery. I should put some gloves on. So if I'm going to wire it to the battery, I need to disconnect the battery anyway. And the battery's old and corroded and gross, so if I do that much work, I'm just going to take the entire thing out and go get a new battery. And then whenever I come back with the new battery, I will then proceed to wire everything while it's disconnected. And we'll go from there. I just realized I don't know where this wire goes in, so I have no idea how to pull it back out. What have I done? I've exposed a very ugly part of the boat. That's what I've done. Buy a boat, they said. Well, the time has come. I've got all the things I need to switch out the crappy bilge pump with a new one that works properly. So we have no excuse not to do this. So, all right, we got our three-way switch. The Seaflow one I bought on the internet came broken, so I just went and bought one in person to make sure it wasn't shattered and busted. So it's got the on and off. When it's on, it's always on, so automatic, off is off. Then on in the parentheses means, like, you know, momentary. It says it right there. So you got to hold it to do the manual bilge pump, and then you let it go and it's off. Flick it back over to auto when you leave, you're good to go. Typical me, everything's tangled. I have two 10-foot blacks that I'm gonna paint or mark one for the brown-white cable, and then the red's positive, obviously. I've got blue C fuse holder, and because of who I am as a person, I didn't know which type of fuse was going to be needed, so I've got MDLs to go in this fuse holder, and then there's actually a fuse block down there that I can put a 5A in. I just need to make sure that I can run all this into that same block. Just to cover all my bases, I'm prepared to do it either way. Butt connectors, plenty of them to make sure all the wires I cut can be slapped back together. And heat shrink to keep it all nice and tight and insulated from any potential moisture, but we're gonna mount it pretty high anyway to minimize the chances of that. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah. the actual bilge pump. 1,100 gallons per hour, a little excessive, but why not? It came with this already connected to the wires, and part of me wanted to hunt down how I could just make one of these to make my life a little easier, but I would have to just splice one of these 3 connectors onto 3 wires anyway. So if I'm doing that, I might as well just cut this and splice it straight to a wire. This is just another piece to get in the way. So yeah, let's do it. Oh, and I got a new battery, but that's not exciting, so whatever. All right, welcome to the pit. There's a new battery, shiny, hooray. I need to get down here and poke around with, I'll draw an arrow, I can't actually see, but there's that fuse block there that I need to disconnect wires from, check that I have a nice 5 amp fuse in there, and then tie my new wires to the old wires that are sitting around dangling, that white one, and then there's a black one attached to the fuse blocks, I believe. I'll just pull all that back through with the new wires attached, and that'll save me a whole bunch of headache on trying to feed things through. So hooray, hooray, let's get it. I'm no electrician by any means. I've done a little bit of headlight wiring on a Harley Davidson, and now I've used butt connectors to crimp 2 wires together. And then I'm gonna roll this here, heat shrink over it like so, and get her hot, and then we'll be good. I'm probably gonna wait to do this until everything's connected and I can test it, because if it doesn't work, I want to come back and maybe find out. I think every time I've hit record, one of my phones has gone off in my pocket. Anyway, if it's broken somewhere, I need to be able to come back and check it without having to tear apart heat shrink, so we'll wait till the end to do that part. 2 more to go. So I've taped the new wires to the old wires and got it through the first pass right here, but turns out they're all kind of wrapped around some other wires that feed through here. So we're gonna chop this up, tape them individually, and that should make it easier to feed past the nonsense. All right, we're almost, kind of, sort of, maybe partially there. The black wire and the red wire go on the switch. Then another red wire goes from the switch to the battery. And I gotta put the fuse holder on that. It's kind of satisfying. But next I have to make the wires fit on this, which will require these bad boys. Disconnect F. The little flat part will go on the thingy. These flat parts, you crimp them down. And the other end, you crimp the wire in. Boom, bam, boom. Next step. Whew. Oh, and my tape idea to drag the wire through didn't work, so I had to sacrifice my fly swatter as kind of like a guide rod. But whatever works, right? Alright, so update where we are so far. This is not what you're supposed to do. I'm not using the colors correctly on my wires. I've got black being used only on negative, but some of the red, nope, that's backwards. All of my red is positive, but this has a black in it, which goes to the positive as well on the battery. So this is not what you're supposed to do. If it was anything other than a bilge pump, I would be a little more concerned about it. But anyone who is messing with the electricity on this boat anyway should disconnect the battery, so then it won't matter. For testing purposes, it really won't make a big difference to me. I'm not going to go through and be like, well, oh shoot, I didn't use the right color wire, so I don't know which wire to test. If something goes out with this bilge pump, I'm just going to swap the whole system out again. So we got the fuse. That red's going to go to the battery. According to the diagram, the other end of this needs to go in the middle here, like so. The black wire is my brown and white, which goes down on the automatic part right here. I'm not crimping these onto the blades until I test and make sure it works, because I don't want to try and have to claw that stuff off of there. And then we'll throw this one right up here. And this is for the LED ground, which I don't actually care about. I mean, I guess it would show if there was power coming to it. So now that I say that out loud, maybe I do care. And that's it all put together on this end. So now just splice the terminal, feed all that through, which I probably should have beforehand because that opening isn't too big. It'll fit. We're good. No worries. Cool. To the pit. Alright. Everything should be wired properly. Got it on the battery. Battery's supposed to be brand new and charged. Let's just see if it makes noise. That's automatic. Hell yeah. We got a bilge pump, baby. An automatic one at that, too. Now, here's the other problem. The hose for the old one, too small. Too small for the new pump, so it's always something. There's always one more thing I forgot to get or do or measure, so we're gonna measure that, go get the right size hose, and we'll be done with it. Check that off the list of like 500 things. Oh, and I dropped like a bunch of shit down in the pit, so I gotta dig underneath the prop shaft to get all that, and it's always something. So it goes. We were so close. I was wrapping everything up, putting everything back together, and the terminal on one of my battery cables, the connector ring, just snapped. So it's good it happened now rather than when the motor was running somewhere. So we're gonna run to the local supplier and pick up new cables, and then maybe, just maybe, I can shut her down, close the pit, clean up, call it a boat again. Maybe. Or maybe I'll find 14 more things that are going wrong. Hey, you want to see something cool? There's a wedding that was going on over there. It's empty now. I don't know where they went. It was really quick. Like 45 minutes. How long are weddings supposed to be? I don't know. I've never been married. I photographed a few, and I don't remember how long they took. I just remember being there all night. Okay, that's all. Look at all these bugs. Are they even showing up right here behind the wheel? Whatever, okay, bye. Bilge pump day 3. Why is it day 3 for just a bilge pump? Well, you've already seen all the madness beforehand, and now I have broken a battery cable, so we went and got 2 more new ones, and then we're just going to swap them out, and then I can actually call it completed. Well, nope, still can't then either, because I've got to buy a bigger hose, because the hose that was on the old one was too small. It's 3/8, and I believe this one is 1 1/8. So I need to find out how long that needs to be, but it runs underneath all kinds of stuff, from all the way back there all the way through here. So I might put the GoPro down there to get a better look at what it looks like and find out where I have to pull things through. So I'm pretty sure it's like a Frankenstein of multiple tubes. The tube back there doesn't look like the tube in the pit, doesn't look like the tube in the bilge. So I feel like it's 3 different pieces put together. I want 1 tube, so we gotta make that happen. That tape's been in the sun for like 3 minutes and it's already just gooping off. which I guess is nice. It's easy to remove. A bit messy. It's fine. It's going down here. Doesn't matter. This better be long enough. The other one was only... It had to connect to the battery, right? So the audio isn't the greatest right here, so I'm just going to kind of give you a quick voiceover of what I'm mumbling to myself. I said, is this day 5 or day 4? I can't remember. It was day 4. One thing after another, you're always going to find a new problem as you're trying to fix something. I had to go back and find my ratchet set because the wrenches I was using could not actually reach to the nut that was holding the battery cable onto the battery switch down in the pit that I could reach from, you know, your battery switch. The wrenches couldn't reach, so I had to try and get the sockets. But what I don't say in this video is near the end here I am cursing and raging, but essentially I still couldn't get it to work, and I eventually had to just take the battery switch out and kind of wire it in that way. New AGM battery. 2 new cables, bilge pump wired up to run automatically, completely irrelevant of the battery switch or any other things. Chargers hooked back up, all the cables are put back in. I need to cover up, I need to go backwards and undo everything I've done as far as screws and all of that. So I'm going to go back through, make sure everything's tight where it's supposed to be, zip tied out of the way, and then we can move on to the bilge pump, which I'm 88% sure I will not figure out today. I said bilge pump. I meant the hose, the bilge hose. I just want to know which one to cut off. And there's, as you can see, there's 3 here, but they don't look the same in the back locker or under the actual bilge opening. So we're gonna have to do some tugging or pump some water through the manual and see what happens. That seems like a smart idea. I'll do that. But for now, let's clean up what I did. So what you're seeing here is 11 minutes of me chipping away at the opening where the old bilge switch was. Yeah, I didn't have the right tools for it, and I was too impatient to do it the right way. Alright, she's in. She ain't pretty. Actually, that looks just fine. Took a lot more shit than it should have, but it's there.